You are listening to the Tricorder Transmissions, Episode 17. And now, here are Craig and Jeff.
Hello and welcome to episode 17 of the Tricorder Transmissions. We are your hosts, Jeff Hewlett.
And Craig Cohen.
Today we are going to be talking about the episode, The Squire of Gothos.
Yes, with Trelane.
Yes, the infamous Trelane, retired general or something of that nature.
Yes, he had a pretty high-ranking military rank.
Yeah, or so he says.
Yes. Well, who's going to doubt him?
No, I wouldn't have doubted him. He's got a pretty cool collection in his little house there. So, obviously he's seen quite a bit of the universe.
Yes.
So a little salt monster in there. So before we jump into the episode, I wanted to mention to you and everybody else out there, I came across something interesting from Mr. Shatner that just popped out. So he's done a bit of narration for a series of YouTube shorts called Twisted Fairy Tales.
I haven't heard about this.
Yeah, and he does Jack and the Beanstalk this time around. So interesting watch. Have you haven't got a chance to watch that yet, right?
No, but I am pulling it up right now, and it looks like they're about 3 minutes long. So this is great. I can't wait to watch these. They look like they're animated. And I guess Shatner narrates over it.
Yeah, and he actually has a couple of other ones that he's done in the past, Goldilocks and Three Bears and Little Red Riding Hood. Mm-hmm. So if you like this one, there are two more for you to check out. We'll include the link in the show notes on the website.
And it says it has an adult twist.
Yeah, well, hence the name Twisted Fairy Tales.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to listen to that. But first, we're going to have to talk the Squire of Gothos.
Yes, we are. So the original air date for the Squire of Gothos was January the 12th of 1967, and the remaster was the 21st of July of 2007.
Perfect. And I have here the TV Guide entry from January 7th, 1967. The Enterprise crew become playthings in the hands of Trelane, a powerful being who is using his human visitors as toys.
Very apt description.
Yeah, so I guess we should just get right to it so we can get through this episode and listen to some of Shatner's Twisted Fairy Tales.
Sounds like a plan to me. So let's get started with our commentary in 3, 2, 1.
All right.
There's our flyby again.
Yep. So
Standard boilerplate opening.
Yep. Back for another exciting episode of Star Trek, the original series.
And look at that yeoman handing out coffee there. She's kind of Janice Rand-like, isn't she?
Yeah. You know what? I really don't like the amount of activity on the bridge in some of these earlier season 1 Star Trek episodes.
Yeah, I had one of our listeners that I see quite often in real life made a remark that now whenever he watches a Star Trek episode, he's keenly aware of how many people are hanging around the bridge needlessly.
Yeah, you'd think it would be essential personnel only. I mean,
yeah, really.
Seriously, what's McCoy doing here?
I know, he's just chilling. Doesn't he have something else to do?
His space age Dixie cup.
Yeah, and you think, I guess there's nobody sick, or maybe Nurse Chapel can handle whatever's going on down in sick bay, and McCoy's just kind of free to roam around.
Yeah, it seems like we've seen these cups being handed out the last couple of episodes, and if my memory serves, those cycle out within the next couple episodes.
Yeah, I believe so. And well, at least they're not red cups, right? At least they're not red cups.
They would have invented the solo cup.
Yeah, well, they kind of look like Pan Am Airlines coffee cups, don't they? Something you would have gotten on an airplane.
Yeah.
back then.
You'd also think that at this point they would have like almost like intergalactic sippy cups.
Yeah, really. I mean, those are you don't want to spill coffee
No.
into those consoles, right? And you never know when you're going to hit like a pocket of space turbulence and everybody's going to go flying, right? And Kirk just leaves it right on the arm of the chair, right on top of his little controller there.
Yeah,
that thing could fall over, and I hope he's got the insurance plan on that thing.
And you think they're drinking coffee, or do you think they're drinking some kind of protein drink?
Well, judging from previous episodes, they've mentioned coffee before.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And something's going on with Sulu, and he disappears. Dun dun dun. And so is Kirk. And Spock just now notices that they're gone. And reverse power is going to fix that. There's this stinger.
Yep.
Not exactly the best stinger in the world.
Yeah.
But people just vanishing. Who knows where they went? Maybe that mysterious planet that popped up on the view screen. Who knows?
Yeah. So this episode was written by Paul Schneider, who wrote the earlier season 1 episode Balance of Terror.
An essential one.
Yes. And he also wrote an episode of the animated series, The Terratin Incident. I have a part of a memo that he sent along with his initial plot summary for this episode to producer Gene Kuhn. And he says, I feel the story has a dash to it, which should make for good visuals and some toothsome character stuff. Also room for more than a pinch of comedy and a guaranteed flabbergasting mystery with a resolution just this side of conceivable. I think I have something pretty darn good here. So it's always cool to see sort of early insight into what they were thinking when they were getting ready to produce these episodes.
Yeah, I guess he never watched Charlie X. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. So, from what I understand, he originally wrote the episode as kind of an anti-war statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Is it? Oh, look at this old dude in the blue shirt they got replacing Sulu. They're like, all right, let's train this guy on the job.
Yeah.
And Scotty, there's Scotty. What's he doing up there?
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't he be back down in engineering?
Yeah. But yeah, this was definitely this series was, on the air, during the Vietnam War, and the country was very, very much aware of sort of, the violence that was existing in culture. So a lot of these episodes seem to, if not at an obvious level, at a very high level, sort of address, the fact that we were a country at war.
True. And we also were a country that really loved our hair cream. I mean, look at the hairdos on these guys, man. That they must have like a giant storeroom full of fop or Dapper Dan or whatever they were using back then.
Yeah. Now this here, I would love to get a poster of this.
What, greetings and felicitations?
Yes. With that font, that ratio,
Listen, I could make you one if you really
hang it
want.
up near my front door.
I could make you one.
All right,
Not too
hold
hard.
you to that.
I've got some of those old school calligraphic fonts. Tally ho, even. You want tally ho on it? I believe it's pronounced tally ho. Yes, Mr. Spock, it is pronounced tally ho. That's really difficult. Hip hip hurrah. Yeah. So obviously there's some kind of a jokester down there on the planet who's coming up with some old 18th or 19th century colloquialisms.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, how we later learn that Trelane has underestimated the era that the humans he's interacting are from.
Well, I guess maybe that kind of lends itself to the old theory that, aliens somewhere are receiving I Love Lucy right now, right? And they think that that's what life on Earth is like at this point. So they'll be very surprised when they come here expecting to hear Baba Lou, and instead they get Lady Gaga, right?
So now we're gonna see some transporter action.
Great belts.
Yeah.
And look at the high-waisted, over-the-shirt belts.
Yeah, and these oxygen masks.
Yeah, we'll later find out that the surface of the planet is extremely toxic. Kirk will see that firsthand here.
Mhm.
And here, see, there's the finesse that Scotty uses on the transporter. We can see him gently
The subtle.
thumbing those. Yeah. And here we are on the surface of the planet. That looks a little sandy, a little backlotty.
Mm-hmm.
Painted backdrop. Yep.
Yeah,
There's
you could probably count the amount of episodes where they went down with oxygen apparatus on what, one hand?
Yeah, very few. I would imagine it's probably a budgetary thing at some point. They just figure we'll just use M-class planets and save the money on the props.
Yeah.
You know. So they send this guy down. He's DeSalle here. He doesn't really show up again, does he?
That's actor Michael Barrier, and he actually left acting.
Doesn't appear to be anything in his way.
In the 60s, he entered law school, and he later worked as a legal officer for the U.S. Coast Guard.
Oh, wow. He's got a bruised middle fingernail there.
Yeah.
And
so he was on a
strange
handful
apparatus.
of shows. Yeah, The Untouchables, My Favorite Martian, and Gomer Pyle MC.
Hmm.
And he also pops up on 2 more episodes of Trek, This
does
Side
he?
of Paradise and Cat's Paw.
As DeSalle again?
You know what? I didn't do that much research.
We'll have to look that up and see. I mean, yeah. Uh-oh. And now we found a door to a castle.
Yeah.
Large wooden door with some ironwork on the front there.
Yeah, excellent set design.
Oh, it is really cool.
Michael Jeffries.
Yeah, really nicely done. It doesn't look. It actually looks really realistic in a way.
Yeah,
it definitely looks like actual stone.
Yeah, I actually in the excellent book Star Trek 365, there is the original production sketch that he drew of what that should look like.
What is that googly-eyed thing on the wall? Do you see that googly-eyed thing hanging on that little? What is that thing?
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but there are various species around here.
Yeah,
that Trelane is pretty much hunted.
Doesn't the salt monster show up in here too at some point?
Yeah, like a slight variation on the salt monster will appear as well. But that's a little detail in the background that that sort of gives a hint that Trelane has done this with several different races, and it almost seems like he's been waiting around for humans.
Yeah, definitely. There's the salt monster.
There's the salt monster.
There he is. And doesn't McCoy look over and be like, Nancy?
Yeah.
Now, here's another instance of why did they send McCoy down? The ship's surgeon. Uh-oh.
Yeah, maybe they were of the belief that Kirk and Sulu would need medical attention.
Yeah, perhaps. Look at the poses he's got them in. Not the best poses in the world.
Yeah.
Sulu looks a little bit dazed.
Yeah. They're like action figure poses almost.
Like they're waxworks figures. Boom, and the door closes. That's foreboding. Well, Trelane does own a harpsichord. That's actually very tasteful. I think, a little light fare. He's absolutely not playing that, though.
No. It's too bad that Liberace ended up doing the Batman series, because I think Liberace would have been a perfect Trelane.
Oh, absolutely, man. Well, originally they were looking for Roddy McDowall for that role, weren't they, for the Trelane role?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I guess it was decided that William Campbell.
Yeah, well, they made him up just like Liberace, though.
Yeah, I mean, I bet you if you asked, casual Star Trek fans who haven't seen this episode in 30 years, who played Trelane, you might get 1 or 2 people that said Liberace.
Yeah, he definitely has the hairdo. He's got the jacket with the what's the mascot with the little plume on the front there. He's the knee-high boots. He's looking very regal, and that's definitely Liberace style. Although he does have some military medals hanging off of his coat. He's a General Trelane.
Yeah,
perhaps.
But he's retired, so
he's retired.
He keeps mentioning that you don't have to call him by his rank.
No, he's got some nice pork chop sideburns too.
Yeah,
to go along with it. They don't quite match his hair.
Yeah, I love these Trek episodes where they sort of go to sort of period type environments.
Happens a lot.
Yeah, because you really get to sort of see, especially in this episode, an episode like Mira, you didn't really get too much, but here, you can spend time looking at the backgrounds here and just looking at the set and looking at some of the detail. You got the suits of armors there,
tapestries.
Yeah, and the candelabras, and
they borrowed all of this stuff from other sets and other places, but I bet you if you freeze framed a lot of these scenes, you could go through there and pick out a bunch of different things that are just kind of littered. And there's a bunch of flags back there and some stained glass, an actual fireplace that's burning.
Yeah,
that's nice.
And this is where Trelane realizes he's made an error in time.
Oops.
He thought they were from the 1800s.
Yep, and instead he should have gone for the space hippie look. He would have been much closer. He could have had a little there was little space harps there and a little flute.
And this is where he learns that he's retired.
Yep. He's finished his studies, and he finds humans curious and fascinating. So
yeah, and he seems really sort of focused on the aggressive side of humanity.
Yes, as are a lot of aliens in this series. We'll find a lot of them just assume people are warlike, which we have been warlike in our past. But I think Star Trek, the original, look at that little spinning thing inside that. It's pretty neat. So, this is ushering in the era of peace for humans. This, the original series. So you've gotten through the war stuff, and now everybody's over the whole material possessions thing and the quest for money and wealth and fame, and instead we're working together to search the stars, if you will. But like I said, the TV signals that are getting out to these aliens are still Hogan's Heroes. They're still seeing the war stuff.
Yeah.
So who can blame them for thinking that we're
But I like the moment where Kirk sort of emphasizes the fact that they are on an exploratory mission, and that combat is pretty much a last resort.
Well, yeah, in a way. Sometimes combat is a first resort.
Well, yeah, but I think what Kirk explains is they're not just out there looking for trouble.
No, well, yeah, I guess so.
Can you imagine that version of Star Trek?
It's the mirror version of Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. See that? He raised his pistol to Trelane, his phaser, and Trelane displays his power.
Yeah, I guess they didn't think that Trelane knew how to use a mirror.
I guess not. Or I guess DeSalle thought he was slick hiding behind that chair. Maybe he wasn't going to get seen, but
yeah. And Trelane instantly figures out that there's different settings on the tricorder, and he sets it to kill.
Oh, this won't kill. So you have to assume there's little labels on the top of the phaser, right? Oh, and the salt monster dies again.
Yeah.
How marvelous. And that's the disintegration setting, right?
Yeah.
He's disintegrating things.
That's the ultimate kill, yeah.
This could kill millions. Absolutely could. Uh-oh. See that? Kirk, brave, walks right up and grabs it out of his hand. Hey, listen, man. This is not cool.
Yeah. Now, hey, do you get, and this is one of those things where, we're able to watch this, with 40 plus years of Star Trek knowledge at our disposal. Do you get kind of like a Q vibe from Trelane?
That's a pretty good observation. I hadn't thought of that. I guess you could kind of pull a little bit of Q out of him there. If he had recurred, several times throughout the series, that would have been interesting. So,
yeah, I mean, it seems like he's got Q-like powers.
He does, and he doesn't have to cross his eyes and nod his head to make things happen, right? He just kind of does them. So
yeah, unlike Charlie X.
Right. So there are a lot of parallels between this episode and Charlie X, as we'll see as the episode goes on. But yeah, I think he is kind of Q-like in a way, isn't he?
Yeah, watching this, I thought to myself, I wondered if while they were sort of putting together the next generation, if, people were digging through for inspiration, they came across this episode and said, well, this is kind of an interesting, idea, sort of a being that's got,
limitless
otherworldly powers.
Yeah. And he's got a flair for showmanship, just like Q does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've got to. He flicked Captain Kirk out into the toxic mist
atmosphere,
and brought him back inside to show them, I've got you by the balls here, man. You guys are stuck here.
Yeah.
And they're gonna make him angry. See, That's a little Charlie-like too.
Yeah, that's actor Trelane, as we talked about, is actor William Campbell, who died in 2011 at the age of 87.
Wow.
Yeah, and he had pretty busy career. He was active from the 1950 to 1996, and he was in a lot of movies. Operation Pacific, Small Town Girl, Escape from Fort Bravo, and he did TV work on the Wild Wild West in addition to Star Trek. Yeah.
Interesting. He got quite a career there.
Yeah.
Now, as we're back on the Enterprise again, Scotty and Spock are trying to figure out where the landing party went and how to get them back.
Mm-hmm.
Apply a fine-tuning on the sensors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. So he's trying to figure out where there's life on the planet.
Yeah.
And he's going to, this is a very dangerous assumption they're going to make too.
Yeah.
They're going to attempt to transport any living beings that the sensors detect back onto the ship. Wouldn't that break some kind of regulation?
Yeah, because what happens if you beam up a Gorn?
Yeah, or one of those pink dogs with the horns. See, here's going to go through his flag collection. That looks like there's an Italian flag there, isn't there? There's a French flag, 2 French flags.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what the red and white one, that might be a Canadian flag?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a warlike flag, though. Yeah. So, back on the harpsichord again.
Yeah. So
they're getting a sense that Trelane is kind of potentially insane in a way.
And McCoy has discovered that he's not alive, for lack of a better word.
Right. And according to their scan anyways, according to their tricorder, he's not a kind of form of life that they've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't even show that he exists. But he could very well be some other form of life. As we'll find out in other episodes, there are forms of life that their tricorders can't detect without being modified or tweaked.
Yeah.
In some way.
Basically, he's not the flesh and blood human that he's presenting himself as.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which is different than Charlie, because Charlie was a flesh and blood human. So it's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Discussing deep laid plans, huh? So he's interested to see humans evolve.
Yeah. Tut tut.
Tut tut. Yeah,
that cracked me up. Back in earlier days with my friends, tut tut was a word that was used often to dismiss something stupid that somebody would say, or so I got a kick out of hearing that in this episode.
Yeah, it's not something that you hear very often, especially not in modern television. I mean, back in the Star Trek days, perhaps tut tut was a little bit more widely used, but I don't think I've ever used that in my own vernacular.
Yeah, I hadn't heard it in a long time, so that cracked me up.
A little refreshing.
Yes.
Refreshing. So, yeah, now Kirk is trying to reason with Trelane, saying, oh, our friends are missing us. They're looking for us, our crew. And he's got 400 men and women on the ship. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
The word women, that got Trelane interested.
Yeah.
Members of the fairer sex.
Eyes lit up.
Mm-hmm. Well, more Charlie-like stuff. More Charlie-like stuff. And they all must be he's optimistic.
Yeah. I'd have to think, though, that Trelane has a little bit more game when it comes to the ladies than Charlie.
Oh, absolutely. Well, he's a little older, a little more experienced. Yeah. He's got great hair.
Yeah.
Knows how to wear a frill.
Yeah.
And now he's gonna pull down some women from the ship, or he's gonna try to transporter signal. So they're trying to beam them back up to the Enterprise. And I don't think Trelane thought of this possibility, and now he's not really happy that they're leaving. Yeah, they're gonna get in some serious trouble for beaming out. Mm-hmm. And I guess they can't get out fast enough to stop Trelane from catching back up to them, huh?
Yeah.
So everybody's back up safely. See that Spock took a big gamble there, which means Trelane is not a life form. They beamed up all life forms. So that proof positive that Trelane is not a life form, or just proof that they're not a life form as their instruments can detect? Get that red shirt guy out of the captain's chair.
You notice he cleared out before Kirk even came.
Get out of there. He heard the turbo lips. Uh-oh. I better not be here.
He was like, "Hey, everybody, look at me. I'm Captain Kirk."
Yeah, man. He's probably doing a Kirk impression on the chair. And seeing everybody's back up at the bridge hanging out again. Look at how casual everybody is. Up, and Trelane has showed up on board. Now, I find it interesting that Trelane didn't want to hang out on the ship and go places.
Yeah.
But instead bring everybody back down, right?
Yeah. I love the look on Shatner's face here. The level of concern he has for his ship and his crew. I think it's some of that subtle acting that I think William Shatner doesn't get enough credit for. And here we get some key Spock information.
Yes, his father is from the planet Vulcan.
Yeah, so he basically confirms what we would know after, several episodes and movies, but this was the first time we got confirmation that his father was a Vulcan.
Yes. He hasn't made any other distinctions, but we are left to assume what we'll find out later on in the series. But Trelane is not interested in Spock, although he was intrigued by the fact that Spock was not human.
Yeah.
So, and here we are, everybody's back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So everybody's sitting at the table. DeSalle, visibly unhappy with this. Primitive fury. Yep. Sublime savagery. Yeah. And, Kirk is exhibiting the same confidence that he did in the face of Charlie, another, superior being. Kirk obviously is not scared, even though he knows that Trelane is pretty much calling all the shots at this point. Mm-hmm. Kirk is not back. This is a trait that he exhibits constantly. Is that a turkey on the table?
It looks like it, yeah.
Turkey and fruit.
Yeah. I think, it is definitely a trait that Kirk exhibits often. And here, I think he's keying in on sort of the innocent nature aspect of Trelane, much like the one that Charlie had. He's definitely not, asserting himself in a fatherly role like he did with Charlie, but he is basically standing his ground and, exerting the confidence that the captain of the Enterprise should.
He called her a Nubian prize.
Yes. Which, fits with sort of the time period that he thinks
they
were originally from.
Sheba. Some lovely coloring.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating. And the Yeoman Rand replacement.
Yeah, Ross, played by Benito Wolff.
Yeah, so this was, again, wasn't this one of the roles that was originally intended for Rand? And after her being written off the series, they replaced her with another random yeoman. In the original script, I guess Schneider hadn't gotten the memo that Rand was gone. And Benito Wolff had a very short acting career. Born in 1943. She was only active from 66 to 69. She was on shows like The Flying Nun, The Monkees, Gunsmoke, The Beverly Hills Billies. She was also in Playboy in 67. And then she married the owner of a nightclub and retired from acting. I'll be damned.
Yeah.
She was on The Monkees, though, huh?
Yeah. I'm not
that
sure
was one of my favorites, though. I loved that show. I'm going to look up which one she was on.
Yeah. Did that show ever get like a proper DVD release?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. It was a big box. I didn't buy it. It was a little too expensive for me. I really would love to have it, but maybe someday I'll get a used copy.
Did that run like 2 seasons or did it run longer?
It was longer than that.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was at least 3.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure. The last episode was interesting. I always liked the last. I had an alien on it.
Okay, I'm not sure. I remember when I think it was MTV were rerunning those in the 80s and probably early 90s.
That's when I got into it. I actually saw them live in 87, so that was a big thing for me.
Oh, right. I remember my aunt and uncle went to that, and I wasn't able to go, but they brought me back the big giant tour book.
Nice.
And I guess did Herman's Hermits open for them?
Weird Al opened when I saw him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, look at McCoy with the brandy.
Yeah.
The only one, nothing has any taste at all. Oh, boy.
Yeah. And Uhura's playing the harpsichord, something that she cannot do. She tells Trelane, I can't play this.
And he gave her the power.
Yeah.
Fascinating is a word Spock uses for the unexpected. In this case, I think interesting. So you're getting a little explanation as to how Spock chooses his trademark words.
Yeah.
No flavor. So nothing has flavor. Trelane knows of the Earth forms, but he hasn't the substance. Yes, so he doesn't know. He doesn't have any experience with it. He knows what it looks like because he's seen the Twilight Zone episodes.
Yeah. It's kind of it's kind of like the opposite of the Telosians, who knew how to have humans act but didn't know what they looked like when they were putting together that poor girl.
Wow, your powers of mental connection are fantastic there. Uh-oh. Except for one small detail, he doesn't like the red dress. Does she have any dialogue?
Very, very small. I think there's a sequence later where they're back on the Enterprise and Kirk makes a joke about it being midnight and she has to go back to being a normal girl.
Yeah, so she's got this ball gown on with this frilly hat. I wonder what show they took that dress from.
Yeah.
It had to be in the wardrobe somewhere. Mm-hmm. Kirk is now noticing that the mirror has some sort of significance.
Yeah.
No. Spock is trying to figure out why the mirror, but
and I think Spock is also a little annoyed that he didn't pick up on it first.
Yeah, that is a good observation. Spock's like, wait a minute, wait. It's an ego thing. It's an ego. He just doesn't like to see himself, in the mirror, and or he likes to see himself constantly in the mirror, rather.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's really we're really at the point now, and we talked about this last week on the Galileo 7. But we're really at the point now where Spock is pretty much the Spock that we know and love.
Yep, completely.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could probably say that with a few tweaks, the show is pretty much at its classic state. Minus I guess one character.
Yep. Minus who will show up in the second season.
Yeah. But
so all the characters pretty much are taking their traditional roles. The characters are acting as expected.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you got the Trinity there. Mm-hmm. Good shot of Kirk, Spock, and McCoy.
That would be another good poster.
Absolutely would. So this is one of the rare occasions that Uhura gets off the ship.
You know what? I didn't realize that.
She doesn't get off the ship very often.
Yeah.
So what else? City on the Edge of Forever. Plato's Stepchildren. I'm trying to think of some other ones where she actually gets off the ship.
Yeah.
Oh, and Kirk is ripping the gloves and the headpiece off, and her hair is a mess. He said enough. Yep. See, and Trelane is trying to goad Kirk into. It's fight. Uh-oh.
Challenging him to the duel.
And that's it. Challenging me to a duel. If you have the courage. Uh-oh. See, and this is all going according to Trelane's plan. He wanted this. This was his idea of what humans were like based on the time period that he's seems to be aware of. So dueling with pistols.
Yeah.
Heroic Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah.
So Alexander Hamilton lived long after the period that Trelane is. Look at that! Right in his face with the gun.
And it's interesting that Trelane sort of disregards the rules of the duel.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem like anybody would agree to a duel where somebody gets to shoot first.
Yeah, really. Those are some interesting looking pistols too. I like those.
Very long barrels.
Yeah, and the handles are very. They have like a little ornamental thing sticking off the bottom of them there. Mm-hmm. They're just gonna do that in the dining room. Trelane could probably make any sort of dueling area they wanted, but they're gonna do it right there in the dining room. Right, he could shoot a hole in that harpsichord.
Yeah, there might have, probably. I wouldn't be surprised if it was in the script, and they, as they were going through looking for ways to save money, they were like, no, instead of transporting to, another area for the duel, we'll just keep it here.
Yeah. So Kirk is going to. See, I claim the first shot. We shoot together. See. Oh boy. Now, see, Trelane's like that annoying kid you used to have sleepovers with.
Yeah.
Whenever you were at that kid's house, he made up all the rules for all the games to
Yeah.
give himself an advantage.
Oh, that's too much.
Yeah. Everybody had one of those kids in their lives, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Monopoly, he'd get to be the banker, and he got to get an extra $500 at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Up, here we go. See, it's a very strange way to hold the pistol. Oh, see.
Then he shoots the ceiling.
Dun, dun.
I guess to see how Kirk's going to react, if Kirk's going to basically, kill him in cold blood.
Yeah, I guess he wants to test his theories. I mean, he knows that Kirk can't kill him, right? So he's going to see if his theories about people and their brutality is true. If he leaves his fate completely up to Kirk.
Yeah.
But the bullet was real.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes out the mirror, and his theory is proven correct, that there's some sort of machinery behind that mirror. Yep, machine.
Mm-hmm. And they're able to make contact with the ship.
Remarkable.
And Kirk's kind of teasing him here now.
Yeah, go on, look at it. It's over. Yeah, well, the episode, it's a little early to wrap. This one. Go back to your ship. All the SU Trelane's a little bit PO'd.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Especially you, Captain. Now you've really done it. Yeah. He's got to go fix that. Oh! He disappeared through the wall. Mm-hmm. Very fascinating. A little unexpected there, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is the captain. They're going to beam the hell out of there. And they're going to go maximum speed. Look at little explosions on the planet there. That's weird looking. All right. Colony Beta 4. Or is it 6? Full power acceleration. So they're at full power, getting the hell out of there. Emergency warp. Will Trelane let them get away?
Yeah.
I don't know. The planet is fading into the distance and behind the ship. And they're waiting till they're well out of range. But Trelane has no range.
Yes.
His reach is limitless.
Mm-hmm.
Although he doesn't use the big green hand to grab a hold of the ship. That comes later.
Yeah.
But strangely, she gets to keep her dress.
Yeah, now she's asking for a moment to change.
Ah, yes. I think
There's the glass slippers line.
Ah, yes. Turning your glass slippers. Not quite over yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's strange she got to keep the dress. A lot of the other stuff disappeared, but I guess that it's actual matter that was, created. He created the dress out of whatever, and I guess it is real.
Whoa.
Uh-oh. And the planet is kind of swinging around. Trelane keeps moving his entire planet in front of the ship. Oh, and they just missed. And
good thing nobody has good thing it wasn't coffee break time.
Yeah, really. The planet Gothos. Gothos is moving around. Nope. So obviously Trelane's power was far beyond what they originally thought it was.
And that's got to be pretty scary.
You would think. I would be pretty scared if I was driving down the highway and,
a building keeps getting in front of you.
That meatloaf sign keeps appearing in front of my car. No matter how much I try to avoid it, the meatloaf billboard keeps showing up.
That's funny.
Yeah, so I guess, Kirk has to admit defeat here and deal with the situation at hand, right? He's obviously not getting away.
Yeah.
Yeah, or toward us. So Kirk has to make a decision here because obviously Trelane's pissed at him.
Yeah.
And he's going back down to confront Trelane. He's got to get this over with. Gonna make him give up the ship. See, Kirk is very loyal to his ship and his crew, willing to risk his life yet again to protect everyone. Oh, look at that outfit, man. That fake George Washington. It looks like a piece of carpet cut in a wig shape, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't
they
it look
actually they actually had to postpone filming that scene because the initial wig they had was the wrong style. And William Campbell complained, and Shatner said, no, let's just go ahead and film it.
Boy.
And Gene Coon came in and said, no, we'll film this scene instead, and then we'll get the proper wig. And so this was, everybody ended up happy.
Well, that's good. This scene is also kind of reminiscent of the trial in Star Trek VI, isn't it? Kirk standing in a semicircular little pod there, although McCoy's not with him, and getting charges read to him. And although Kirk doesn't have any sort of a lawyer, Worf isn't there to plead his case.
Yeah, and we got some of this really great Jerry Finnerman cinematography here, where you see the sort of the shadow of the noose.
Great use of lighting there and shadow.
Yeah. Jerry Finnerman again bringing a lot to the visual style of Star Trek.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and here's the Kirk, kind of offering himself up, if you will. Take out your anger on me. Leave my shipmates alone. I was the one that called the shots. I'm in charge. Take this out on me. Kill me. Oh, he's just going right at him. He doesn't even care. He's like, I know Trelane can move an entire planet. He could crush me like an insect. But I'm going to go right back at him. Guilty on all counts. According to your own laws. Interesting.
And he's being sentenced to death.
Hung by the neck. Dead, dead, dead. So Kirk now needs to think on his feet yet again. Up, and there's the pan up again to the shadow of the noose and the fade out. Kirk is in grave peril. Spock doing the captain's log. First Officer Spock reporting. So no word from Kirk. They're a little bit worried. Waiting time is almost up. So Kirk has left them with orders. If he doesn't come back in a certain amount of time, get the hell out.
Yeah, which wouldn't be the first time we get those kind of instructions.
Nope. That happens all the way through the series into the movies. I think Trelane's pants are green.
Yeah.
And he's got the puffy shirt from Seinfeld on.
Yeah, so as far back as 1967, they were trying to make that the fashion of the time.
Yeah. Well, this was the fashion of the 18th, 19th century, but it's one trend that hasn't seemed to come back yet. It's a shame we're kind of stuck in a fashion loop, aren't we? The 60s come back, the 70s come back, the 80s come back, 90s come back, and then it's going to 60s again. We don't go back further. Why not? Oh, look at the noose just kind of dangling there. Oh, he's got a hangman's hood on there. He's got a hood he's going to put on Kirk.
Yeah.
Wow.
For the mid-90s Sci-Fi Channel rebroadcast of this episode, William Campbell talked about his appearance on this episode. He says, "It was just a great role. It was sensational. I'll never forget it." So, obviously this was an important role in his career, and it seems like he had an enjoyable experience on set.
Yeah. See, now here we go. It looks like a fun role to play. Here's Kirk thinking on his feet yet again, saying, "Listen, Trelane, this is too easy for you. There's no sport in this.
Yes.
There's no fun in this. If you're going to kill a man, shouldn't you experience the fun of it, the intrigue, the suspense, All right,
yeah.
So
which seems like something that Trelane has done already based on sort of the prizes that he had displayed in his living area.
Well, I'll contradict you a little bit because he pulled down Kirk and Sulu and just immediately froze them in place. He didn't.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like he could have done the same thing with all the salt monster. He could have just snapped his fingers and boom, you have a statue. Boom, he's the. Now
okay.
he's actually going to suggest that. Listen, why don't we do an actual hunt? You can do better than just killing me outright.
Yeah.
The thrill of the sport instead of just killing me with a sword.
Yeah.
And now Trelane's starting to get. He's like, yeah, that would be kind of dull, wouldn't it? Yeah, something more fanciful, right? Yeah. Let me see. What could we do? A hunt. There you go. Exactly. And Kirk's playing right along, smiling. Go hide in the forest, and I shall find you. Yeah. How does that strike you? Sounds like a good deal.
Now, we recently saw, and my memory is terrible sometimes when it comes to this, but Trelane Playmates action figure, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yep, we saw
then-
one. Where was that? Was that in
I think
Vegas?
it was at the Toy Shack.
I think it was
Vegas.
a Toy Shack in Vegas. We saw the Trelane action figure.
Yeah, that was what, from that early to mid '90s.
Yeah, that was when they issued a lot of the series of next gen figures. They were done in the same style as the I think they were made by the Galoob. Who made those?
I thought they were Playmates for some
They were
reason.
Playmates. That's right. They're Playmates.
Yeah. But that was kind of a cool style because it was kind of cartoony.
That was one of the reasons why I didn't really care for those figures as much. I like more detailed.
Go for the realism. They went more for an animated almost.
I have quite a few of those, and they do kind of look like animated figures as opposed to the more realistic ones. The set that I have, the 03, kind of the deluxe 7-inch figure set.
Yeah,
they're more realistic.
And here we've got some action, and Kirk Shatner had a stunt double, but Campbell wasn't going to be doing any kind of falls or anything like that. So he did not, and I guess he decided at some point that his character should take a fall as well. And when he did, he popped his shoulder out of the socket.
Oh, man.
So he had to be adjusted.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah. So we got a pretty cool little chase sequence here.
Yeah, little some backlot plants there with some moss growing or some little brambles.
Yeah, and this is almost sort of a little appetizer for what we're going to get next week in Arena.
Yeah, a much better fight and chase scene, I think.
Yeah.
But this is pretty well done for a studio set. I mean, you got the green. Oh, look at this Kirk doing the swinging on the branch, kicking the sword out of his hand.
That's not a fair fight.
No, not even close to a fair fight because Trelane can apparently teleport.
Mm-hmm.
See, you scored first. Aha. But you never played the game before. Beginner's luck. And Kirk just throws the sword away, and Trelane does a Luke Skywalker and sucks the sword back up. So this is an extremely unfair fight.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be any way that Kirk can win this battle. Although he's giving it his best. He's got a big tree branch there, and Trelane is just laughing the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
He knows there's no way Kirk can possibly win. He's just screwing with him at this point.
Here we get that Jeffrey set again.
Yep.
Good to see it again.
It's a really cool door.
It is.
I really like that door. And Kirk is pretty much trapped at this point. There's really nowhere he can go. He can't escape Trelane. Tally ho. Yeah, that's it. Hey, what's going on? Uh-oh. The scene is the image on my Blu-ray got a little fuzzy there. I guess that was one of the prints they couldn't clean up.
Okay.
That scene where the bars on the other side of the wall appeared.
I had a really nervous moment watching this before this record. My Blu-ray started skipping on this episode.
Oh, no.
And I was like, God, I bought this months ago. I'm not going to be able to return it.
No.
And I took the Blu-ray out, and there were fingerprints all over it.
Oh,
Sure
wow.
enough,
How'd that happen?
Yeah, I guess I was clumsy.
You fat-fingered it.
Yeah, but I wiped them off, and the episode played back fine.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear. You got yours at about the same time I did, right? With that Amazon deal.
Yeah.
That was a killer deal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that goes on sale every once in a while. Oh, so Kirk breaks the sword over his knee.
Smacking Trelane around. So this is the same approach he took with Charlie.
Yeah. Just, alpha male sort of.
The bravado. He's like, listen, man.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's a mysterious woman's voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So same exact thing kind of as what happened to Charlie.
Yeah.
His parents / guardians show up.
Yeah.
It's gone far enough.
Mm-hmm. The male voice here is actually a Star Trek cast member who was a regular on the series. Do you want to take a guess on who it was?
Scotty.
Yes.
I'm
James
good.
Doohan.
He does a lot of voice acting. That's why I guessed him.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And he got a little bit of since he wasn't on this episode very much, they found a way to sort of get him a full day's pay or whatever. Brought him in to do some voice work.
That's great. He does a lot of characters in the animated series, so that's why I kind of gravitated to
basically the Chekhov replacement.
Yep.
The alien.
Weird 3-armed alien guy.
And so basically Trelane's being told here, like almost like a child, this is why we can't have nice things.
Yep. These are actual beings with real spirits. And, you're going a little too far with this game of yours. Mm-hmm. And now we kind of find, I guess that Trelane is kind of like a child in a way.
Yeah. Well, obviously that's not his regular form.
No, he made the planet. You're not going to be permitted to make any more planets. Yeah. And he was winning. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And here's a little bit more of that Kirk compassion. You see Kirk, he's sort of looking at Trelane with a little bit of pity.
Oh, the little spotlight fades out.
Yep.
As Trelane fades away, and he's still arguing his case.
And then Kirk gets the apology.
Yep. We regret that their life paths have been disturbed. Who is Trelane? Oh, is it Kirk asking the qualifying question, and he's their child. Yep. And they've been parents who've been indulging their children too much, and they're asking for Kirk's forgiveness, which I think he'll give.
Yeah.
No one's dead, and accept their apologies, and this bucket of chicken. Oh.
So Trelane probably got like a week or two time out, and
yeah, I think that's appropriate.
Back at it again.
That's appropriate. Captain to Enterprise, yeah.
So they're giving Kirk enough time to get off planet while they sort of hold the life-sustaining atmosphere.
Yeah, why couldn't they just flick them back up there? Trelane did it.
Yeah.
Like, snap his fingers. And that's it, man. And they're back on course again. Everybody's back in their respective positions. Colony Beta 6. Normal orbit and procedures. And here's the wrap.
Yep.
Spock, still thinking about Trelane, huh?
Mm-hmm.
How do we describe him? Spock wants to know what they're going to put in the record.
Yeah.
Force of intellect and body energy. We don't even know. What exactly is he? Because it's for scientific purposes, God of War. Spock doesn't find that very fitting, a small boy. Yeah. So, yeah.
So I guess now that we are at the end of the episode, as we always do, we will decide whether this is essential Star Trek, the original series viewing or not. And I'll take the lead here.
Go for it.
And I will say that as, entertaining as this episode can be, it is a little bit redundant in terms of the idea of dealing with a very, very powerful being. And aside from the reveal that Spock acknowledges that his father is a Vulcan, which we're going to learn at another time anyway, that would really be the only thing that I could argue for making this essential. But there's just not enough going on here to deem this essential viewing, in my opinion.
Interesting assessment that I have to agree with.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. So, and I don't even think that Trelane is in the pantheon of original series villains. I don't think Trelane carries enough weight to make the episode essential just on his presence alone, as would the Gorn or Khan, things like that. He in the pantheon of villains. I don't think he's a heavy hitter enough. And like I said, you said the reveal about Spock's father being Vulcan. We're going to hear that 1,000 more times, and you're going to hear that more stuff about his ancestry. So, there doesn't seem to be enough on this episode to call it essential. So I'm going to vote along with you, and we'll get a double non-essential on this one.
All right. So that brings us to the end of the episode. And as always, thank you for sitting down and watching and listening to Star Trek with us.
Yep, and we'll see you next week on Sunday for our next episode.
Arena.
Yeah, man, looking forward to it.
All right.
Take it easy, everybody.
You broke it. You broke my sword.
You got a lot to learn about winning, Trelane.
You dare to defy me.
In fact, you've got a lot to learn about everything, haven't you?
I'll fix you for that. You cheated. You haven't played the game right. I'll show you.